In the quiet city of Portland, Oregon, lived a young woman named Claire Johnson, a 22-year-old college student who had always been close to her father, David Johnson. David was a respected architect in the city, known for his dedication to designing buildings that blended modern style with Portland's natural beauty. Ever since Claire's mother had passed away when she was just a child, it had been Claire and her father against the world. Their bond wasn't just of father and daughter. It was of two best friends who leaned on each other through grief, challenges, and life's unpredictable turns. Claire admired her father deeply, not only because of his resilience but because of the quiet strength he carried every single day. For Claire, her father was her anchor, her biggest supporter, and the person who taught her how to face life with courage. One spring evening, as rain drizzled outside the old Johnson home, Claire sat with her father at the dining table, laughing about her latest college stories. David had been more quiet than usual, his mind weighed down by something he wasn't ready to share. Claire noticed the worry etched into his face, but she respected his silence. What she didn't know was that David was being followed, targeted by someone who held a grudge from the past. David's career had placed him in the spotlight, and years ago, one of his decisions in a major construction project had ruined a man's business. That man had never forgiven him, and now his anger had found a way back into their lives. A week later, Claire came home from campus to find the front door slightly ajar. Fear rose in her chest as she stepped inside, calling for her dad. The house was quiet except for the sound of dripping water in the kitchen sink. On the counter sat a note written in hurried handwriting. "You don't know the truth about your father. Be careful who you trust." Claire's heart raced as she read the words over and over, unsure what they meant. That evening, David returned home, and Claire showed him the note. His face darkened, but he told her not to worry, brushing it off as a cruel prank. Claire wasn't convinced. She knew her father well enough to recognize that he was hiding something. Days turned into nights filled with tension. Claire began noticing a black SUV parked near their street almost every evening. She started to feel eyes on her when she walked home, a presence lurking in the shadows. One night, while returning late from the library, she felt footsteps following her. Turning quickly, she saw a figure in a dark hoodie vanish into the alley. Shaken, she rushed home to tell her father. David listened, his jaw tight, and finally, he revealed the truth. Years ago during a major construction bid, he had discovered corrupt practices and exposed them. His actions saved the city millions of dollars but destroyed the men behind the scheme. One of them, a man named Robert Kane, had sworn revenge. Claire's heart pounded as the puzzle came together. The notes, the SUV, the shadows, it was all connected. David explained that Robert had recently been released from prison, and now he feared that Robert was after him, or worse, after Claire. The revelation didn't drive Claire away from her father. It drew her closer. She realized how much he had sacrificed to protect not just the city but their family. She loved him more than ever, not only as her dad but as the bravest man she knew. Determined not to let fear control them, Claire and David worked together. They changed their routines, kept track of the strange car, and even spoke with the police, though they had little evidence to act on. One rainy night, everything came to a head. Claire returned home to find her father missing. The living room showed signs of a struggle, a broken lamp, scattered papers, and the door left wide open. On the floor was another note. "Now you'll see who he really is." Panicked but determined, Claire followed her instincts. She remembered her father mentioning an unfinished project site near the waterfront, a place he had been overseeing. Racing there in her car, she found the black SUV parked outside. Heart pounding, she slipped inside the half-built structure, the sound of her footsteps echoing. In the shadows, she heard her father's voice, calm but firm, confronting Robert Kane. Robert's voice was filled with rage as he accused David of ruining his life. Claire stepped forward, her voice steady despite her fear, telling Robert that revenge wouldn't change the past. Her courage surprised even her father. At that moment the police, whom Claire had secretly called before racing to the site, arrived, lights flashing and sirens wailing. Robert tried to flee but was quickly caught. David rushed to his daughter's side, pulling her into a hug, his relief evident in his trembling hands. That night, as they sat together in their home, the storm outside finally calming, David looked at Claire with gratitude. "You're stronger than I ever imagined," he told her. Claire smiled through her tears and replied, "I learned it from you, Dad." From that day forward, the bond between father and daughter grew even stronger. The threats were behind them, but the love, trust, and unshakable connection they shared became their guiding light. Claire loved her dad, not just as her father but as her hero, her inspiration, and the person who reminded her that love and courage could outlast any shadow of fear. And in the city of Portland, under the endless drizzle of rain and the glow of streetlights, their story became one of survival, resilience, and the enduring power of family love.